Krishna Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Thank you very much for coming. So this is Shadbhuja Prabhu's first time in Houston, so I wanted to introduce him. Shadbhuja Gauranga Prabhu has been practicing Krishna consciousness for almost 20 years. Particularly, he joined as a full-time devotee in Pune in 2009. Full-time brahmachari. He did services at Pune and then at ISKCON Juhu, primarily in youth preaching. And then right now he manages about 6 youth preaching centers in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh area, and also manages 2 ISKCON temples, one in ISKCON Warangal in Telangana and ISKCON Pedakakini in Andhra Pradesh. It's quite a bit of a challenge, but he's also a personal friend to me for the last 6 years, very humble devotee. He excelled in academics. He got 108 rank in engineering entrance exam. Auspicious. His transcendentalism began there, and he worked for multinational corporations for a couple of years, and then joined full time. Prabhu also finished his Bhakti Shastri and doing Bhakti Vaibhava. And as a student counselor, he has more than 100 students. He functions as a counselor to them while managing 2 temples and 6 centers. He's very, very humble. I was telling Saranga Thakur Prabhu that probably is in terms of those who are involved in management, of course, Saranga Thakur Prabhu is also very gentle and humble. I said in Indian managers, I said I found Shadbhuja Gauranga Prabhu to be very, very gentle and humble. So please welcome Shadbhuja Gauranga Prabhu, loudly saying Hare Bol. So today Prabhuji will speak on Lord Chaitanya's South Indian tour and some of the lessons we can learn. He said it's a vast topic and he will just cover some lessons in the next hour. So we have 1 hour. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I'm very glad to be here with all the wonderful devotees of ISKCON Houston. I'm also very thankful to you for coming despite today being a weekday out of the schedule. Still you could take out some time for a Chaitanya Charitamrita discussion. Very grateful to you. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuh Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadhanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we shall discuss from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's South India Yatra. So this whole section is a very long one. So we will try to see one small section of this, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. So the beginning part, when he performs Kirtan at Alarnath, we will try to see that section. I am sure most of you must be familiar with this section, how the South India Yatra began. Still, reciting this is something which is very wonderful. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we shall begin the discussion from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, Chapter 7, The Lord's Tour of South India, Shloka number 69 onwards. If you have like references, either books or online, it will be helpful so that we can recite. 769, Madhya Leela. Or let's begin with 68. It's all like connected, so we'll begin with 68. अंगीकार करी प्रभु ताहर वचना, अंगीकार करी प्रभु ताहर वचना, तारे विदाय दीते तारे कैला आलिंगना, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's request that he meet Ramananda Rai. Bidding Sarvabhauma farewell, the Lord embraced him. So what is happening is, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as you all know, he took sannyas, and though originally intended to go to Vrindavan Dham by the tricks of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and also by the loving request of Sachi Mata, he made his residence at Jagannath Puri. So, after reaching Jagannath Puri, one of the first major pastimes performed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is deliverance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He converted him from being a Mayavadi impersonalist into a devotee of the Lord. After which, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided that it's time for me to distribute the holy name freely to the whole society. So he decided to embark on a yatra to Dakshina Bharata Desh, a yatra to South India. So this is the context. The devotees try to really stop or at least postpone Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu South India Yatra. So that discussion comes just few verses before this. It goes back and forth. And then finally Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kind of fixes his time for departure. At that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya mentions to him, because you are embarking on your South Indian tour, South India Yatra, when you go to Vidyanagar, there is a great devotee by the name Ramananda Rai. So please do not forget to meet him. Please do not forget to give your association to him. So saying this, so this is what he requested, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So the Lord accepted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's request that he meet Ramananda Rai, bidding Sarvabhauma farewell. The Lord embraced him. 69. Ghare Krishna bhaji more kariha ashirvade. Nila chale asiyena tomara prasade. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the Bhattacharya to bless him while he engaged in the devotional service of Lord Krishna at home, so that by Sarvabhauma's mercy, the Lord could return to Jagannath Puri. Who is asking blessings? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking blessings of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So, who delivered whom? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Point number 1. Point number 2 also is, in the Varnashrama system, a sannyasi is considered higher. So sannyasi generally offers blessings. But here is a wonderful situation that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking the blessings of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So let's read the purport. The word Kariha Ashirvade means continue to bestow your blessings upon me. Being a sannyasi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the 4th order of life and was thus due all respect and adoration, whereas Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya as a householder was in the 2nd order. A sannyasi is supposed to offer blessings to a grihastha, yet now, by his practical behavior, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested the blessings of a grihastha. This incident shows the special significance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching. He gave equal status to everyone, regardless of material considerations. His movement is thoroughly spiritual. Although apparently a grihastha, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was unlike the so-called karmis interested in sense gratification. After being initiated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhattacharya was perfectly situated in spiritual order. Therefore, it was quite possible for him to offer blessings even to a sannyasi. He was always engaged in the service of the Lord, even at home. In our disciplic line, we have the example of a perfect householder, Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. In his book Sharanagati, Bhakti Vinod Thakur states, Yedina grihe bhajana deki grihete golokabaya. Whenever a householder glorifies the Supreme Lord in his name, his activities are immediately transformed into the activities of Goloka Vrindavan. Spiritual activities taking place in the Goloka Vrindavan planet of Krishna. Activities exhibited by Krishna himself at Bhauma Vrindavan, the Vrindavan Dham, existing on this planet are not different from his activities on the planet Goloka Vrindavan. This is proper realization of Vrindavan anywhere. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we inaugurated the new Vrindavan activities wherein devotees are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And this is not different from Goloka Vrindavan. The conclusion is that one who acts strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is competent to offer blessings to sannyasis, even though he be a grihastha householder. Although he is in an exalted position, a sannyasi still must elevate himself to the transcendental platform by rendering service to the Lord. By his actual behavior, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begged the blessings of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. In this way, he set the example of how one should expect blessings from a Vaishnava regardless of his social position. So, very important principle is being explained here. In the process of devotional service, in the Vaishnava line, social considerations are not the foremost. The spiritual considerations are the foremost. So, and hence, here he is asking blessings from a grihastha. So, a grihastha who practices Krishna consciousness sincerely is is placed on an equal level with a sannyasi as far as devotional principles are concerned. It's not that sometimes there is a notion that one ashram is higher and another ashram is lower, or sometimes there are some conceptions. But if somebody is practicing Krishna consciousness very seriously, then even a grihastha is competent to offer blessings to a sannyasi. So the glories of grihastha ashram is being that's the principle here. Yeah. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sought blessings and he is now deciding to live further. Text 70. Eta bali Mahaprabhu karila gamana. Murchita hayataha padila sarvabhauma. Right? Eta bali Mahaprabhu karila gamana. Eta bali means speaking this, saying what? Please give your blessings. And he is like politely making a move forward. Karila gamana. But seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leave them is so painful for Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya that Murchita Hayya Taha Padila Sarvabhauma. He fainted unconscious. Translation. Or can any of you read translation? Those of you have references so that it can be everyone's involvement.
Saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed on the stool and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately fainted and fell to the ground.
So the love between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very deep. We can see this in a magic. Just short time before, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is like Mayavadi, impersonalist, always after Mukti and Brahmajyoti and all. And this is the power of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the power of the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A hardcore Mayavadi is now in love with him and unable to bear separation from him is now falling unconscious. So we can see the effect of the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This also shows the depth of relationship or the depth of connection between the Lord and his devotees. Devotees cannot bear separation from the Lord, and the Lord also cannot bear separation from his devotees. Of course, naturally a question will come, if that is the case, then why to leave? If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot bear separation, then why is he leaving? He is leaving for a very important cause of spreading the holy name, of preaching Krishna consciousness to the whole Dakshina Bharata Desha. 71. Tare upekshiya kaila shigra gamana के भुजिते पारे महा प्रभुर चित्त मना. Somebody can read translation.
Translation. Although Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya fainted, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not take notice of him. Rather, he left quickly. Who can understand the mind and intention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Right? That same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Namo Mahavadanyaya, who is very magnanimous and who is very, very, caring to his devotees. Here, what is he doing here? Although Sarvam Bhattacharya fainted, he just, moved forward. He left quickly. Is there any other instance where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu behaved like this? Someone just does not want him to leave, but he just left. Yes, Gadadhar Pandit, from Tota Gopinath, when he wanted to go to Vrindavan also, Gadadhar Pandit was just not ready, but he just moved forward. Yes, Prabhuji. His mother, yes, his mother Sachi Mata, when he wanted to take sannyas, so on that night, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leaving, Sachi Mata somehow got the indication that Nimai is going to leave. So she was just standing at the door, constantly weeping tears. Then it is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just, with a very strong heart, he just took a decision, just walked off. Because sometimes our relationships may come in the way of our mission. So relationships are important, but for the sake of mission, sometimes we may have to keep aside relationships for some time, right? For a temporary period of time. So that's what is happening here. Otherwise, his devotees will never let him go. When will there be a time when the devotees will let him go? There will never be a time, right? That's the way Krishna also had to make a move out of Vrindavan. The devotees they can never let him go, but he had to go to kill Kamsa. So there are sometimes important services and mission to be performed. Purport. It was naturally expected that when Sarvam Bhattacharya fainted and fell to the ground, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have taken care of him and waited for him to regain consciousness. But he did not do so. Right? So it appears rude. It appears harsh. It appears heartless. Hey, he's fainting, can't you at least attend to him? He said, if I again attend, this story will continue. I will move, somebody will attend. It's like that. Rather, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately started on his tour. It is therefore very difficult to understand the activities of a transcendental person. Sometimes they may seem rather odd, but a transcendental personality remains in his position, unaffected by material considerations. 72. Mahanubhavera chittera svabhava ehaya pushpasama komala katina vajramaya. Yeah, translation.
This is the nature of the mind of an uncommon personality. Sometimes is soft like a flower, but sometimes it is as hard as a thunderbolt.
Yeah. Mahanubhavera chittera swabhava eihaya pushpasama komala kathina vajramaya. This is the nature of a Mahanubhava, of their mind. The softness of a flower and the hardness of a thunderbolt are reconciled in the behavior of a great personality. The following quotation from Uttara Ramacharita 2.7 explains this behavior. One may also consult the Madhya Lila, 3rd chapter, verse 212. We'll see this verse and then maybe just discuss a few minutes on this. 73rd. Vajradapi kathorani mruduni kusumadapi lokottaranam chetamsi konu vijñatum ishvaraha. Translation.
The hearts of those above common
Being very soft, and there are times where one has to take strong stands, right? We can see examples of this in the lives of in the life of Srila Prabhupada and in the lives of previous acharyas also. They are very compassionate, they are very considerate, they are very caring at times. And at other times, they are very strong, right? There are pastimes of Srila Prabhupada where he's like very loving, very caring. During the Guru Puja, when he saw one devotee was limping, he was asking him, what happened, and he personally wrote the prescription. In general, Prabhupada has been very, very loving, very, very caring and very, very kind and compassionate. And yet, we also see some of the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada where he became very heavy on devotees, right? Can you think of any pastime any pastimes in both the sides? Let us say, can you think of any pastime where Srila Prabhupada was very kind and very compassionate and was like very soft in dealing with devotees? Any pastime comes to your mind? Yes, Prabhuji.
So once this happened in Europe, Prabhupada was supposed to give initiations, and before that, in the morning time, he saw that things were not properly organized, and he really got very upset.
Is this a London episode?
Not London, it's somewhere in Germany or France.
Germany, okay.
And then he literally chastised everyone over, including temple president.
Yeah.
And the temple president afterwards started walking behind him. Prabhupada just got up and he left. And devotees, no one could dare walk behind Prabhupada. But the temple president had to walk. So started walking, and Prabhupada went near there were some rose bushes over there. He picked up the rose. And he turned to the temple president and asked him, "Isn't this so soft and fresh?" And he said, "Yes, Prabhupada." And afterwards, the temple president couldn't reconcile. Like he was saying that inside the Prabhupada which I saw is totally different from over here.
Yeah.
And then he he got all the courage he could, and he asked Prabhupada, he was so upset inside. Prabhupada turned towards him and asked, and he told him, "Upset? I never get upset." So he said, "What was that?"
Yeah.
So that time Prabhupada tells him that, I am a spiritual master. It's my responsibility to make sure that things go proper way. But in general, I never get upset.
Yeah. Good example. Thank you for. Yes. Anyone else gets any recollection? Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada disciple, I agree with Chaitanya, the first books. He left sometime, wasn't following all the principles, then he came back. And Prabhupada was so happy to see him back. Some tears came to him, yeah, really for
Yes. When someone left, so naturally it could like arouse anger that now what is it after teaching you so much, after after knowing everything, you left. But then when he came back, Prabhupada was very accommodating and kind of in fact he was in tears to receive them back. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada was very affectionate to Ramakrishna Maharaj, but when they had a problem in Juhu and they give away the land, and then Prabhupada really chastised him, and then in front of everybody, every time Ramakrishna Maharaj walks in, he says,
Yes.
he's the one.
He's the yeah.
So,
Yes, correct. Yeah. So, Vajradapi kathoram, kusumadapi komalam. So, a Mahanubhava, a very great personality, they have both sides. If anyone is involved in management, you'll also understand this. You'll also realize this, right? Sometimes management necessitates that one has to take a strong stand. Otherwise things don't move forward, right? Like some festival has to be conducted, If really things have to move forward, then he has to take a stand sometimes. Of which stand he has to take? Vajradapi kator. Sometimes they have to take, right? But that may not mean that like they don't like the devotee. It's the need of the hour. So depending on the need of the hour, they may have to accordingly take a stand. Fine.
I hope everybody remembers.
Yeah.
Only if you cry later.
so when they get upset, you remind him.
But I'm coming to you.
So in Narasimhadev also we find this, right? This contradiction. Tava kara kamalavare nakham adbhuta shringam, right? The palms are like kamala, the lotus, as soft as lotus. But then nakham adbhuta shringam, the nails are like thunderbolt, right? So that's the contradiction resolved in Narasimhadev also. So that's the principle here. Nobody can understand the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no, we never thought that you are like this. We never thought that you will do like this. You will do like this. We never thought that you are so, insensitive or you are so hard-hearted, Who can understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart? It's like that. 74. Nityananda Prabhu Bhattacharya Uthaila Taraloka Sange Tare Ghare Pathaila. Translation, someone?
Lord Nityananda Prabhu raised Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and with the help of this man saw him to this country.
So then taking care of Sarvam Bhattacharya was done by Nityananda Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just, moved forward. 75. Bhaktagana Shigra Asi Laila Prabhura Satha Vastra Prasada Layatabe Aila Gopinatha.
Immediately, all the devotees came and partook of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's company. Afterwards, Gopinath Acharya came with the garments and prasad.
Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is moving forward and some of the devotees joined him. Gopinath Acharya came with garments and prasadam. 76. Sabhasange Prabhutabe Alalanath Aila Namaskara Karitare Bahustuti Kaila.
All the devotees followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to a place known as Alalanath. There they all offered respects and various prayers.
So the first place where the group assembled is at Alalanath. I hope most of you have been to Jagannath Puri and Alalnath and all the nearby places. So how many of you have been to Alalnath? Okay, some of the devotees, yes. So, we will read few verses and then do some discussion. 77. Prema Veshe Nritya Gita Kailakatakshana Dekite Aila Taha Vaish Dekite Aila Taha Vaishayata Jana.
In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and chanted for some time, in which all the neighbors came to see him.
Chaudikete Sabaloka Bale Hari Hari Prema Veshe Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari.
All around Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also known as Gaura Hari, people began to shout the holy name of Hari. Lord Chaitanya, immersed in his usual ecstasy of love, danced in the midst of them.
So these verses are very, very nice verses. 78, 79 describes the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, okay, let's read 79. Let's recite 79. Kanchana Sadrisha Deha Arunavasana Pulakashrukam Pasveda Tahate Bhushana.
The body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was naturally very beautiful. It was like molten gold dressed in saffron coat. Indeed, he was most beautiful for being ornamented with the ecstatic symptoms which caused his bodily hair to stand on end, tears to well up in his eyes, and his body to tremble and perspire all over.
Okay, so this is very, very amazing section, no, describing the great beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the way he did Sankirtan. 80. Dekhiya lokera mane haila chamatkara Yata loka ISKCON nahi aya ghara.
Everyone present was astonished to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing and his bodily transformations. Whoever came did not want to return home.
Whoever came did not want to return home. The participants, all the people who came to witness that beautiful kirtan, they became so absorbed, they became so attracted, they became so captivated by that Sankirtan and the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They did not want to return home. Ami ghare na jaibo, vane praveshibo. That song says that, right? Ami ghare na jaibo. That I saw Krishna and I'm so attracted that I don't want to go back home. So that's the feeling which all the devotees who came to the Sankirtan, they got. Keha nache, keha gaya, Sri Krishna Gopala. Premete bhasila loka, Stri vruddha abala.
Everyone, including children, old men and women, began to dance and to chant the holy names of Shri Krishna and Gopala. In this way, they all floated in the ocean of love of Godhead.
They all floated in the ocean of love of Godhead. So, this is the beginning of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's South India Yatra. So let us reflect on the verses that we just recited. Few reflections on 75, 76 onwards. You see 75. Gopinath Acharya came with garments and prasadam. So, why is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beginning the South India Yatra? One of the reasons is the purpose of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent is like Yuga Avatar, he wants to spread the holy name, he wants to spread the Sankirtan. When he tried to do this in Navadvip, because of so much of opposition, because of so much of, you can say, like people were not receptive, people were not ready to accept it. So even though in his heart he wants to give it out, even though in his heart he wants to spread Sankirtan, but people were not receptive. People were not ready to take it because they had many, Vedic considerations, and they were many karmakandi brahmanas and demigod worshippers, and many just mere scholars but not devotees. So Navadvip was filled with all this kind of people. So even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eager to distribute the holy name, the highest, Prem Sankirtan, he wants to distribute. But the people of Navadvip are not ready. They were not ready. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, actually, this is not the best ground for me. This is not the best place for me to do this. So he chose Dakshina Bharata Desha. In the verses that follow, there is a verse which comes that what he could not distribute in Navadvip, he distributed very freely, the Prem Sankirtan he distributed in South India Yatra. So this began at Alalanath. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assembled, he first reached Alalanath and all the devotees assembled there. And then the Sankirtan started there. So this place, Alalanath, already has, connection with previous Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, right? Generally, when is the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Alalanath? During the Anavasara period, when Jagannath Darshan is paused for those days, for those almost 15 days. That is the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Alalanath. So Alalanath is, Chaturbhuja form. Alalanath is Chaturbhuja form. So then a question comes, how is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to worship Chaturbhuja form? Because Chaturbhuja form means Vishnu, four-armed form is Vishnu form. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the Gopi Bhav, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the Radha Bhav. So how can he go to a Vaikuntha form, Aishwarya Bharita form, and how can he go there? So the answer is explained by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Who is Alalnad? Yes, he has 4 hands, but he is not a Vishnu form. When the gopis are searching for Krishna during the rasa dance, so that was the time Krishna manifested his Chaturbhuja form and to like kind of mislead the gopis. So he did not show up his form. But when Srimati Radharani came and asked where is Krishna, so then he could not maintain his 4 hands. So his 2 hands disappeared and his Dvibhuja form appeared. So this Alalanad, the Chaturbhuja form, is not Vaikuntha form, is not Vishnu form, it is Krishna's form only. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to always go to Alalanad during the Anavasara period. So that's where the Sankirtana started. What are the features of that Sankirtan? Prema Veshe Nritya Gita Kaila Katakshana Dekite Ailataha Vaisayata Jana. So the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed Sankirtan is so blissful, is so ecstatic, is so full of emotion, is so full of bhav. Prema Veshe Nritya Gita Kaila Katakshana. Great ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and chanted for some time. Actually, this is what everyone is looking for. Everyone is looking for deep expression of love. That is what everyone wants in their life. Not finding this expression of love towards Krishna, this is being directed towards all the material things of this world. So, one of the purposes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan is to teach the whole world. Withdraw your interest in all the material things. I am here, I am here offering you the highest form of love. I am here offering you the highest form of ecstasy. Why are you stuck up in this material world, with all the lower forms of miserable enjoyments? So, Prema Veshe Nritya Gita Kaila Katakshana Dekite Ailataha Vaisayata Jana. Indeed, all the neighbors came to see him because they felt something very wonderful is happening, something very astonishing is happening, something very beautiful is happening. So all the neighbors came there. Chaudikete Sabaloka Bole Hari Hari Prema Veshe Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari. So all the neighbors came. So the news spread that, hey, have you seen, a very attractive, effulgent sannyasi has come and he is doing great kirtan. So the news spread from one person to his neighbor, to neighbor, an entire locality. All the neighborhood assembled there. All the people assembled there, with great astonishment and with great happiness. Yeah, Chaudi Kete Sabaloka Bole Hari Hari. So all the people there, seeing the what Premavesh is this, what kind of ecstasy is this? We never saw anything like this. We never knew anything like this, right? Is Kirtan a new thing in Jagannath Puri, or is Kirtan a new thing in Kalinga, in Orissa, Bengal, in general? Is it that people have never seen Kirtan? We find this discussion coming in reference with Prataparudra Maharaj also. Yes, please.
I was just reading in the Adi Viva when the Chandkazi was, so in the earlier pastimes, the Smarta Brahmanas were complaining that Lord Chaitanya, they were doing kirtan all the time. They said on certain ceremonies they'll do it all night long, but not all the time people do kirtan.
Yes, correct, thank you. If you see, in Kalinga Desh and Utkala Desh and Bengal and all Gauda Desh, Kirtan is not new actually. Kirtans have been there even before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. Then what is the speciality here? That's what even Prataparudra Maharaj asks when he first sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the rooftop. He says, I have seen so many Kirtan parties till now. Because Jagannath Puri means regularly from nearby places Kirtan parties come. But But this kind of kirtan I have never seen. So, the speciality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, he introduced Prem Sankirtan. Kirtan has always been there. Groups have always been coming and performing kirtan. But this kind of Prem Sankirtan, this kind of, Sankirtan in such pure ecstatic love of God, that, has never been heard of before. So, seeing that, Chaudi Kete Sabaloka Bale Hari Hari. So everybody, loudly proclaimed Hari Hari. Hari Hari. So Chaudi Kete Sabaloka Bale Hari Hari. And amidst all such ecstatic groups of people, Prema Veshe Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari. All the devotees are very happy, all the devotees are like in great bliss. And then in the middle of them, there is Gaura Hari. In the middle of them, there is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is in Prema Vesh. And then he is dancing and singing and calling the Lord in ecstatic love and ecstatic prema. Prema Veshe Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari. So in general in this world, everyone is occupied with worries, tensions, anxieties, some deadlines, some issues, some challenges, problems, and mind is in general preoccupied by many other things, many material worries and anxieties. So we can just imagine how nice it is that forgetting everything else, keeping all things aside, somebody is able to chant and dance in ecstasy. What a beautiful experience this is, right? So that's what all the people who assemble there, they are experiencing. Forget everything else. Keep all worries aside. Keep all anxieties in the car park and just chant and dance and just be happy. Chaudi Kete Sabaloka Bale Hari Hari Prema Veshe Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari. So this is one very interesting feature of spiritual world and probably spiritual life. Spiritual world is simply bliss. Spiritual world is simply just have fun. Have fun not in a mischievous or notorious sense, but have fun purposefully. Have fun meaningfully. That is loving service to Krishna. So spiritual world is not a place where we are always in anxiety, where of course there are transcendental anxieties in service to Krishna, but they are also always blissful. They are also full of bliss, right? So this is one reason for us to aspire to go to the spiritual world. This is one reason for us to strongly, because none of us like these anxieties of this material world, yes or no? None of us like this, like the way, this world inevitably puts us through all these anxieties, worries, problems, tensions. He did like that, he said like that, and this is not done, that is pending, and all kinds of always worries, right? So keeping all these things aside, if one can withdraw one's mind from all such material anxieties and invest it in Krishna consciousness, in Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela, that's actually the perfection of life. That's actually the fulfillment of our hearts. So that's what is happening to all the people who assembled there, and hence we don't want to go back home. घर जाएंगे तो वापस वही चक्कर में पड़ना पड़ेगा. Again we have to go back to the same old things. But here what is happening? Chaudi Kete Sabaloka Bole Hari Hari Prema Vesha Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari is dancing and they are saying Hari Bol, what else is required, It's like that. So it's very, very happy moments, very, very nice occasions these are. And Madhye Nritya Kare Gaura Hari. So how is that Gaura Hari in the middle? How is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how is everyone perceiving him? That's in the 79 what we recited. It's a very beautiful verse describing the wonderful, beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kanchana Sadrisha Deha Arunavasana Pulakashru Kampasveda Tahate Bhushana. Kanchana Sadrisha Deha. His body is effulgent like molten gold. Kanchana. Kanchana Sadrisha Deha. It was like molten gold. His body is like effulgent, right? So, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had two weapons with which he transformed all the conditioned souls. Any of you heard about this? What are the two weapons with which? Yes, Prabhuji.
His beauty.
Yes, his beauty. Yeah. Yes, of course, humility, but in that context, and the holy name. The holy name and his beauty. So these are the two weapons with which, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like transforming all the conditioned souls. So this verse is about his beauty. Kanchana Sadrisha Deha Arunavasana. So Arunavasana is saffron garments. Why saffron garments? Because he has taken the renounced order. He has taken the sannyas order. Arunavasana. So do you know what is Aruna? What is that color? In general it is saffron. But Aruna is the reddish sun. When the sun is just rising. So the initial, the red color that we see, that is the Aruna. Aruna is the driver of the sun god. Kanchana Sadrisha Deha Arunavasana. Now for somebody to look beautiful, what should they do? They have to put on a lot of things, right? They have to put on many ornaments, beautify themselves with many varieties of things, right? I'm just coming here from New York. So in subways of New York, the way people, all the varieties of things that they try to beautify themselves, different types of hairstyles and dressing styles and polishes and all. It's we can see wide variety of efforts to beautify oneself. We can see, and everywhere else also. How is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beautified? How is he beautifying himself, or what is beautifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because he is conquering everyone with his beauty. So what is he dressing himself with? What are the ornaments upon him? That's mentioned here. Pulaka Ashru. Pulaka Ashru. Standing up of bodily hair and crying. Kampa, trembling. Sveda, perspiration. These are the ornaments of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He doesn't have to wear some diamond necklace or no. Of course, he doesn't have hair, or color his hair or anything like that. He doesn't have to put anything else or things like that, external things. His bodily symptoms born of his ecstatic feelings, they are only acting as like beautifying agents for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pulakashru Kampasveda Tahate Bhushana. He was most beautiful for being ornamented with ecstatic symptoms, which caused his bodily hair to stand on end, tears to well up in his eyes, and his body to tremble and perspire all over, right? So other kinds of beautifying agents we can purchase in the market, but these beautifying agents, they're not so easy to get. They're not so easily available. One has to endeavor in the process of Krishna consciousness to advance and come here. So then what happened? Dekhiya lokera mane haila chamatkara yata loka ISKCON nahi ayagara. So we just mentioned this, right? So this was so attractive, this was so captivating, this is so like satisfying to them, no? They felt that nahi aya ghara, vapas nahi ja. We don't want to go back home. It's like that. Everyone present was astonished to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing and his bodily transformations. whoever came did not want to return home. In general, this is the way Krishna consciousness has to be performed. Like in general, our life gets conducted on a material plane, and Krishna conscious activities are on a spiritual plane. So if we perform the activities of Krishna consciousness with great absorption, with great enthusiasm, with great involvement, then we experience something which is far higher than, than the material platform. And thus, one feels that this is where I wish to be. This is what I want to be. This is how I want to be. And thus, I don't want to go back to the same old, material attachments and material anxieties and anarthas. I don't want to go there. That's the feeling a devotee aspires for. That's the feeling one gets when one performs Krishna consciousness. Any of you had this experience? Let's say you are in the association of some very wonderful, exalted devotees like some Srila Prabhupada disciples or spiritual masters or like that. Or even some Yatra experience, right? I think Yatra experience, many devotees may share this feeling that you go for a Yatra on the last day, what is the experience? Yeah, correct. Nahi aaya ghara. Nahi aaya ghara. Kaha jana hai? Kar jana hai. Last 1 week we were in Vrindavan Dham, Nandagaon, Barsana, Radhakund, Girigordhan, all that, right? And then the return train or return vehicle, whatever it is, return plane appears like, a very cruel thing, which will separate me from this, which will take me away from this, right? So that's the aspiration. That's how Krishna conscious activities should. That's the experience that one gets while doing Krishna conscious activities. Of course, this does not mean that going home is something bad. This does not mean that, our fulfilling our responsibilities is not needed. If one is fulfilling one's responsibilities in the spirit of Krishna consciousness, then as one of the previous purport says, home also becomes the spiritual world actually. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. So for a devotee, as long as he is performing all his activities of Krishna consciousness very faithfully, wherever he is, he may be in Yatra, he may be at home, he may be in the office, wherever he is, as long as he carries this consciousness that I am doing all these things as service to Krishna, he can see Krishna everywhere, and thus everywhere it becomes Vrindavan for him, right? That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Grihete Goloka Bhaya. Just imagine, house is filled with, sometimes, it's generally observed that even 1-2 kids, it's very difficult to manage, right? 1-2 kids, if they don't listen, it's very difficult to manage. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes back home, he has how many? A dozen of them. I think, is it 11, Pooja, exactly? 12, right? So 12 children at home. You can imagine the noise and the chaos. 12 children. He had to manage all of them, right? But when he comes back home from the court, he being the magistrate, what is his experience? How does the home look like for Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Golok. Grihete Goloka Bhaya. When I come back home, I find Goloka here. That is because the whole home is Krishna conscious. That is because, he's seeing the home as a place where all of them are together performing Krishna consciousness, right? It's like that. So for a devotee, his responsibilities are never a burden. For a devotee, his duties are not a burden because he's doing all of it in the service, as a service to Krishna. Even if one has to go for office, even if one has to go for job or any other responsibilities, as long as one carries this spirit, then it's all Vrindavan, it's all spiritual world. We saw this also, right? 81. Keha nache, kehe gaya, Sri Krishna Gopala, premete bhasila loka, stri vriddha abala. Everybody got involved in it, right? Somebody was dancing, somebody was singing, Sri Krishna Gopala, Sri Krishna Gopala, Sri Krishna Gopala, like that. Everyone is reciting the holy names. Which means the ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kind of pervaded in the hearts of everyone else. And then not only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting and dancing, but everyone assembled there, they were also chanting, they were also dancing, and they also caught that ecstasy. So this also we can observe sometimes. Some very exalted, some Srila Prabhupada's disciples come or some spiritual masters come. No? Sometimes we find that we act on a platform much above our regular platform. We get transported to a much elevated state of consciousness in the association of some very exalted senior Vaishnavas. We can see that. So that's what is happening here. Premete bhasila loka. Everyone, including children, old men and women, began to dance and to chant the holy name of Sri Krishna and Gopal. In this way, they all floated in the ocean of love of Godhead, which means not only is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu floating in love of Godhead, but everyone assembled there, even they are floating in the ocean of love of Godhead. So now comes a very important prediction. So this, what is happening here, this ecstatic situation, this ecstatic scene is being observed by Nityananda Prabhu. And now Nityananda Prabhu makes a historical prediction. Let us see, 82. Dekhi Nityananda Prabhu kahe bhakta gane Eyi rupe nritya age habe grame grame. Translation.
Upon seeing the chanting and dancing of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda predicted that later there would be dancing and chanting in every village.
So saying this, Nityananda predicted. He predicted what? ISKCON. So in the purport, let's see the purport. The prediction of Sri Nityananda Prabhu's is applicable not only in India but also all over the world. That is now happening by His grace. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness are now traveling from one village to another in the Western countries and are even carrying the deity with them. These devotees distribute various literatures all over the world. We hope that these devotees who are preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will very seriously follow strictly in his footsteps. If they follow the rules and regulations and chant 16 rounds daily, their endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will certainly be successful. So, saying this, actually Nityananda Prabhu predicted this ecstatic Sankirtan, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing, Habe Grame Grame, in future it will happen in every village. So, Prabhupada takes a reference of Western countries. The members are now traveling from one village to another in the Western countries and are even carrying the deity with them, like that. So when this happened, Sankirtan was mainly happening only within India and the places around. But this prediction, Nityananda Prabhu made that in future, ISKCON devotees will go, bus parties, Kirtan parties, they will go everywhere. They will go to Houston, they will go to New York, they will go to San Francisco, they will go to Los Angeles, they will go to London, they will go to Sydney, Melbourne, Durban, everywhere, and they will chant. So, in fact, this I heard from one of the very senior Vaishnavas. He said that this is actually one of the seed predictions of ISKCON. This shloka which Nityananda Prabhu spelled out, that Habe Grame Grame, it's going to happen in every village, it is going to happen, is one of the seed predictions of ISKCON in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, there are also other references for this kind of things, but this is one of the important verse. Dekhe Nityananda Prabhu kahe bhakta gane eye rupe nritya age habe grame grame. In every village, this will happen. So, I think just 5 minutes are there, for time. So, should we take some discussion, Pooja? So maybe we will stop here. Of course, actually we can go on. What follows is also a very beautiful section actually. What follows is also a very wonderful description of how the kirtan happens. And actually, Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees will find it very difficult to control the crowd actually. So Nityananda Prabhu had to, very tactfully keep the crowd aside and take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inside so that he can rest for a while, he can honor prasadam. But the crowd outside becomes so uncontrollable that again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes out. Then the kirtan continues. No? That's how the beginning itself is very wonderful, and that's how it continues all through the South India Yatra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang. This very famous one. Krishna, 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 hey. So that is a song, actually. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mainly recited during his South Indian Yatra, and immersed everyone in ecstatic love of God, immersed everybody in, Krishna Prema, and delivered lakhs and millions of people all over South India. So, anyone wants to add any comments or any additions? Yes.
So, thank you for taking us to South India. So, beginning. From the beginning. So in that, in the 74th verse of that, when Sarvabhauma, he falls down and then Nityananda Prabhu lifts him up. So there's a very beautiful analogy behind that particular pastime. It says that when Lord, he moves ahead, then he doesn't just move ahead. He hands us over to our spiritual master. So Nityananda Prabhu, being an Adi Guru, he hands us over, he's the one who lifts us up.
Will take care. Oh, amazing. Haribol.
And then when he lifts us up, and not only he, other devotees follows him.
Vaishnavas also.
They take us home. So the home which is referred over here is back to God.
Home. Okay.
And then as you proceed ahead with this in this chapter, even you see the reference of Nityananda Prabhu to certain extent, and then it's because of his mercy, he reveals that, right now he talks about the Sankirtan, you will experience this again and again. So it's the Guru who tells you that this is what Lord is going to do, and he prepares you for, getting into that particular mode.
Yes.
So Nityananda Prabhu plays a very, the Guru plays a very vital, important role in this.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted.
Oh, wonderful. Haribol. Yeah. Thank you.
So,
Yes, please.
I don't know much about the pastime, but Lord Chaitanya went to a place called Sringeri, which is near Gupi, and it's one of the mass of Shankaracharya. So it doesn't say what he did, he went there, and that mass, the brahmacharis are, the name is Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya's guru, Bharti Maharaj, took sannyas at the Sringeri Math. So even though Lord Shankaracharya is very controversial, being excellent of Mayavadi philosophy, he also had a mission to perform in Lord Chaitanya's Lord's scheme of things. So, can you say anything about, it's a difficult subject, but there's more similarities between Shankaracharya and Lord Chaitanya than we would normally think. So, I don't know, it may be offensive to think like that, but just, I saw that in the Chaitanya chapter when he goes to Sringeri, but it doesn't say what he does there.
Yeah, so Your question is, are there similarities between Lord Chaitanya and Sankaracharya? Is that the point?
Yeah, I mean, when New York, there was a court case in New York against the devotees in America.
Brainwashing
and
case.
Brainwashing of the cult. And they got scholars and they got religious leaders in India to write letters for the board of ISKCON. And the Sringeri Math, they wrote a nice letter for ISKCON. So there seems to be some connection between, and there seems to be a connection of Lord Chaitanya and the Sringeri Math. But I don't know what.
Okay, I mean, what did Lord Chaitanya do at the Sringeri Math?
Yeah,
Is there, so Prabhu is saying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from Keshav Bharati.
Yeah.
And then he is connected to Shankara Sampradaya and seems there is a relationship between him and Sringeri Math. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Sringeri, there is a connection he has, but Chaitanya Chaitanya doesn't address what he did over there.
Okay.
And then when the ISKCON was, being put into troubles, Sringeri Math wrote a letter in support of
ISKCON, yeah.
So he's asking,
what?
Is there something that's some sort of affectionate relationship or something that you could comment on? Is there anything there?
Okay. I also have not specifically come across what Lord Chaitanya did in the Sringeri Math, but in principle, Lord Chaitanya was like distributing love of God. So maybe he favored them more because that is connected to his spiritual master. And we also got a chance, maybe I think this is in the year 2015, I think so. All the brahmacharis, we had a yatra to Sringeri actually. So there also ISKCON devotees are very well received by all the local. They have a good opinion, though philosophically we have our boundaries, and we don't bring that in our interactions. But otherwise, in general, they have been affectionate to ISKCON devotees. They carry they're very warm and welcoming to all these ISKCON devotees. But as far as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tours are concerned, one thing is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not compromised on philosophy anywhere actually. I mean, surely if he came across people speaking impersonalism or Mayavad, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had defeated. Even Tattvavadis, in Udupi, he debated with them. Sringeri is very close to Udupi actually. Sringeri is just, I think, one and a half hour distance drive from Udupi. So, one thing is there that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not compromise on philosophy anywhere. If he's interacting with Mayavadis, he would make his point actually. As far as truth and tattva is concerned, there is no compromise. So maybe this few things comes to my mind. If any of you wish to add anything, you can add.
Basically the purpose, I'm just sharing what I have heard. So basically the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu South India Yatra was, one of the aspects of many was to take some things from different sampradayas and also to give some things to different sampradayas. So as you rightly said, from Sringeri Math there was a connection for a sannyas. So that's what he took. And in order to give that, he, it is said, wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, two things he did mainly. One is Nritya and Kirtan. So for Sringeri Math, when he did Nritya and Kirtan, the same, and it is said that wherever he danced, people felt kind of unconscious.
Yeah.
And so the two things what he, one thing what he received was the sannyas, and one thing what he gave was Harinam.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's what that was his mission.
Also, isn't there some places where they actually consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonging to them, other than personalism? Have you come across things like that, where they actually present Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as belonging to the impersonal self? Have you come across something like that? I think in Bengal, in some of them may, consider like that.
The later Sampradayas.
Yeah, you see in the books of sayings, they include Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Mm-hmm.
But they belong to impersonal Sampradaya. But they just include him in there. I believe there's some place where the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deity also they have, but as part of it, just one of the Mayavadi sannyasis.
Okay.
I don't recall where it was, but
Okay.
something like that was established in India somewhere.
Oh, okay. So this is after the whole Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's passing. Later on when the Upper Sampradayas came.
Recent things also.
Okay.
They include him into their
Okay.
traditions.
Yeah.
Organization for Divinity, which is by Buddhism established. So they worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they have their murtis. Even if you go, it's in Kerala.
And they're impersonalists?
They claim to be some kind of New Age Vaishnava, but they think that this is means to liberation. It's not that this is the end all. But they do worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah. Kali Yuga, everything is possible.
Yeah. Probably I have a couple of comments. One is, it's interesting that the blessing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking blessing from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. When their first meeting happened, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his move towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that Chaitanya.
Correct.
So he's so worried about him. Here is a young sannyasi, he will fall down if I don't give him very strong philosophy of detachment. So like, you should attend my classes. Right? I mean, very genuinely.
Yeah.
Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was actually teaching sannyasis.
Yeah.
Many sannyasis could go to him for learning. He was so learned scholar. So he wanted to protect him. He was so young and beautiful. So with that fatherly affection, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just sat quietly for 7 days and listened to everything. And of course, when that's happening, Gopinath Acharya was preaching to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also. And then when everything happens, you see the opposite now. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu uplifts him and then gives him the deserving position of who can now bless me. I mean, just reflecting. Putana, even though enviously later she became the mother. And here he wanted to be in that position of affectionately giving blessings and uplifting him. And now, after Mahaprabhu uplifted him and asked him to bless me.
Gave him that position, yeah. Interesting, yeah.
And the second thing is, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan movement, so I was reflecting upon when I first came in contact with ISKCON and watching these tapes. The YouTube was not yet fully there, so we used to have a cassette thing and all ITV tapes and Prabhupada's initial days. And it always amazed me, Prabhupada chanting in New York in the park, and the men and ladies, everybody are dancing. Right? So coming from South India, spirituality means very reserved and stuff. And looking at that was, what is this? Men and women, everybody dancing. And then now when we reflect back and see here what has happened, exact same thing was happening. Even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very strict sannyasi and everything, but this is happening on the streets. And on the streets, even women were dancing to the holy name. It was not just in the New York, right? It was happening right in India 500 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And that conservativeness, that even it was there in my heart at that time. But now looking at it, Prabhupada was not inventing. He was just, resurrecting what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing. And like you were saying, grame, including the Western world. The same thing.
Very nice parallel. Very nice observation.
Thank you for taking us to 500 years old, the beginning of something like that. It was very nice.
Okay. So, then should we stop here? Should we pause here? Okay. So thank you. Thank you for taking your